Hello, and today on 180 Seconds we're talking about the Ace Attorney series. Yes, I believe this series is actually responsible for the resurgence of the point-and-click adventure game that I loved so much during the 90s. It of course all started with Wright, Ace Attorney, which gave you your premise, you know? You had to go and search all these areas for MacGuffins, clues, interview people, get all your facts straight, and then go to court and use it to defend your client. And it worked pretty well because you actually had to use these in such a way as to make it seem that your client was innocent. Now, ultimately, usually your client was, but that's not the point. The point is, it's the puzzle getting there. And they were pretty interesting puzzles, you know, pretty equivalent to, like, Encyclopedia Brown back in the day. And since I loved Encyclopedia Brown, you know, I had to enjoy this with all the mysteries and whatnot. And then came the next one. It was more of the same, but it added this whole psychic element to it, which I think didn't detract from it at all. I mean, it had like this, the psych lock, yeah, that's it. And it just added more puzzles. And these puzzles, of course, force you to use your logic and what you learned before in order to get everything together. And I liked it. It was really good. And then the third one came out. And it was even more of the same. And that wasn't such a great thing. I mean, it was pretty much the same game. But there were more cases and there were more puzzles, and that was cool, and that's really all you come for. And they lasted a while. That was the real key, because this is the sort of game that you just don't play more than once. But the storyline in this one was really cool, because it not only tied everything together, but it was a little more mature, kind of grew up a little, and it brought back all the elements from before, so you can't say that it's a bad thing. Ultimately, it was a good thing, a great thing, that it tied up all the loose ends, because they brought out the next one, Ace Attorney Apollo Justice, which nobody liked just because the main characters weren't in it from before. Well, so what? It still had puzzles, it still had longevity, and it had the really cool system where you basically look for nervous tics. And I thought that should have been featured in earlier games. I thought it would be so cool if, like, all the people had nervous tics and you could see them, and my dreams came true. I really liked this one. It was pretty cool. But then you got the spiritual successor right here. The Harvey Birdman little trial and error game. It played the same. You had to find your items and everything. But ultimately, it played a lot more like an episode of Harvey Birdman. Not entirely a bad thing. I mean, I have, like, all the Harvey Birdman episodes myself. But it just seemed a little too random. All the cases were a little off, you know. I had to keep searching for things, so I'd say check it all out, especially if you love Ace Attorney.